11 letters, 3 words, 1 phrase coaches don't toss around lightly. Must-win game. That's what lies ahead of the Charleston Battery tonight as they fight to make the playoffs for an 11th straight time in the modern era. Head coach Mike Anhauser is counting on leading scorer Claudio Repetto to come up with a big play in a big moment, while Jeremy Raffanello leads the way for a young, talented New York Red Bull squad that may be out of the race, but can still certainly impact the proceedings. The USL Championship playoff chase continues next. Hometown Heroes night here in Patriots Point and Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, as Charleston Battery hosts New York Red Bulls 2 for the 4th and final meeting of their season series. And what a season series it's been. Alongside Gary Bailey, I'm Joe Malfa. We take a look at the Atlantic Division standings. Right there in 5th place, Charleston Battery, they need to pick up wins every chance they get here to try to get above that playoff line. And it's not going to be easy. Don't be fooled by New York being in 7th place. This season series has been very tight so far.
It certainly has a win for Charleston Battery, but two draws. And New York Red Bulls, they can score goals. They're so good in attack. Charleston Battery, though, they can jump on any mistake and punish you as they did right here. So expect New York to attack and expect Charleston to be able to counter. Should be a cracking match tonight.
Middle of the summer, Charleston was at a point where they were scoring at an uncharacteristically high rate. They were conceding at an uncharacteristically high rate. It has since flipped where they're scoring at a more normal rate and they're defending really well. But on a night like tonight, they know things might have to open up, and if they open up, they're going to look to DZ Harmon to get things going offensively.
Yeah, what a good player he is. 2 goals and 2 assists, but he's strong. He's got pace. He can get behind the back four. They'll be looking to him to try and escape and cause New York Red Bulls centre-back some problems, because when Red Bulls do attack, they attack with their full-backs as well, and they do leave their centre-backs exposed. Ideal for DZ Harmon to take advantage of.
And we know that this game could be very open because of the way Red Bulls play. They are among the league leaders in shots.
Pick that one out the back of the net. Golazo, golazo. That's got to be in there with one of the goals of the season.
And they have been very active offensively, but shots on target, not as many considering how many shots they do have.
Yeah, I think that's their biggest problem. Efficiency going forward for New York is a big, big problem.
Look at the starting lineup for the Charleston Battery, brought to you by Bud Light. A lot of players that you expect to be in the starting lineup on the bench tonight, Gary.
Yeah, 5 changes in total. On the bench, you can see Patrick Hogan, Angelo Kelly, Zico Lewis, Eric Costas, and Claudio Repetto. They all played against Miami, but in come Jared Van Schaik. That's great news to get one of their mainstays of their team back. Robbie Crawford, likewise, good to see him back. Chabel Perez gets a chance, Burke Failing, and Joel Bunting up front.
On the flip side for New York Red Bulls, too, they haven't had much consistency all season long, but they're starting to get some actually late on.
Yeah, they are, and they also play this sort of style of forward the back with both wing-backs pushing up, and then 2 defensive players in Ziyech and Williams, 2 attacking number 10s, Raffanello Lacava, and then the 2 up front, Ngoma, the 16-year-old coming in for Archimed, and Sam Williams, also a 16-year-old in midfield for Cameron Harper. The other change, Edelman suspended, Jake Lacava in.
We should have an exciting one on deck. These teams have averaged nearly 4 goals per game in the season series this year. It's a must-win for Charleston, and it's next here on ESPN+.
One of the great things about Charleston is this vibrant culture.
You have so much history.
And you're not far from water, no matter where you are in Charleston.
This is a town full of top-notch restaurants.
Charleston is an incredibly romantic place.
The fresh air, the smells of Confederate jasmine.
Charleston has everything.
So depending on what you're looking for, you can find it in Charleston.
This is your vacation, your beach, your fields of green, skies of blue, mountains of majesty. You're an athlete, you're obsessed, you're in love, you're in pain, spirit drained, in agony, fighting gravity. Because you made a commitment to yourself and others to work on your game, build your frame in blazing heat, exhausted and beat. Because when you refuse to yield, your spirit is revealed. You are an athlete. MUSC Health, Sports Medicine.
My bad.
Don't be left in the Stone Age.
I'll get you some matches.
Get access to exclusive experiences at BudLightLegends.com. Prepare to be swept off your feet. Enjoy VIP perks and more at BudLightLegends.com.
Ready to go here in Mount Pleasant. From left to right in red, New York Red Bulls 2. From right to left in yellow and black, Charleston Battery. Just about set to kick things off here on Hometown Heroes Night. John Maddow blows the whistle and we're underway. Alongside Gary Bailey, I'm Joe Malfa. Glad you could join us this evening. It's must-win territory now for Charleston. They need this in a bad way. Trying to keep their streak alive and make an 11th straight playoff appearance in the modern era. Red Bulls coming off of a tough one against Memphis on the weekend. Disastrous start for them, trying to start better tonight, but they're under pressure, and it's knotted back for Marcucci. Take a look at the injury report brought to you by MUSC Health Sports Medicine. There are a lot of players on the injury list for Charleston. It's been an issue all season long, and on the flip side for Red Bulls, just a suspension. Edelman with a red card.
Yeah, quite a few injuries there for Charleston Battery, but Gula, one of those coming back, and I think probably the biggest player they've got back today, Jared Van Schaik, so crucial to them in defense, and he'll be needed today because they have shuffled the pack. They brought on quite a few players who've been given a chance to show what they can do tonight, not the regulars perhaps, the Burke Failings of the world, Chabelle Perez and Joel Bunting, but they've been given a chance to say, what can you do against this young New York Red Bulls side?
Mike Anhauser made no bones about it in our chat this week. From this point on, every home game he called a must-win game. They need to pick up 3 every chance they get here at Patriots Point, and they're going to need to steal a few points on the road as well, with the 7-point gap right now between them and Charlotte. They do have a game in hand. Charlotte currently delayed in their game against Miami. We'll keep you updated on that one as it does kick off eventually.
Yeah, and just to add to that point, they need Charlotte to drop points as well, because if Charlotte keep winning and Charleston keep winning, Charlotte, obviously that 7-point gap will remain. But if Charlotte, for example, lose tonight against Miami, and Miami are a difficult side to play against, and Charleston should win, then the gap will change. Have a look there, it's 7 points as it stands. A win for Charleston, a loss for Charlotte, and suddenly it's 4 points. The two teams have to meet in about 4 games' time, so suddenly it becomes doable. If it goes the other way, if Charleston even draw and Charlotte win, then it goes to 9 points, and then you start to worry that the Battery might miss out on the playoffs.
Charleston trying to pressure early. It's something Mike Anhauser noted. He wants this team to take it to New York Red Bulls. He knows the trouble New York has had in terms of leaking goals, especially of late. But it was interesting to see the lineup card put out, Gary. A lot of players who we expected to see out there for Charleston in a must-win game, the likes of Repetto, Zarakostas, and so on and so forth. Zico Lewis on the bench tonight.
Yeah, because they got Pittsburgh away on the weekend, and I think he's looking at that, is Coach Mike Anhausen going, well, it's going to be a tough one. I need my top players, and I need to rotate. So here's a chance for those on the fringe. It's a home game. It's a game against, to be fair, a side that has struggled, as you say, in terms of conceding goals. Their goal difference of -29 is the highest in the entire USL. So yes, they're very exciting going forward. Some lovely talent, New York Red Bulls too, but defensively extremely vulnerable. And I guess Mike Anhauser feels that today's the right day to put his sort of fringe players in and keep his best players for the match away at Pittsburgh.
Could also bring them in later on if they sense things are going their way and need a bit of a boost.
Yeah, that is an option, because you say they all are on the bench. And he did pick out Joe Kuzminski as someone who's going to be crucial. He says today, we'll need our goalkeeper because we're going to push forward a bit. We're going to have a go at New York Red Bulls because we know they are vulnerable at the back, but they can attack us, and so we need our goalkeeper to stand tall today.
They had a stretch in the middle of the summer, Charleston, where they were scoring a lot but also conceding a lot. They've since tightened things up. But it's tightened up at both ends of the field. The goals haven't been pouring in the same way. Mike Anhauser knows they're going to have to open up, not just tonight, but in a number of games down the stretch, which is going to leave Kuzminski vulnerable. He's going to have to come up big in a lot of one-on-one situations. Mike Anhauser conceded that, and we'll see if the goalkeeper's up to the task. Here's Perez off the post, and it stays out.
What a good shot that was from Perez, and Marcucci a little bit lucky because it hit the post, then hit the goalkeeper. That could easily have bounced back into the goals.
Back the other way here, and it's cleared away by Archer, only momentarily. So battling in there. Almost fell for Jake LaCava. End-to-end action, it's what we expected.
It is, have a look, he's a long way out, 30 yards out, he hits the post, hits the goalkeeper. If that hits you cleanly on the head, it can easily go in the back of the net. It sort of hit half hand, half head, and the ball dropped for Marcucci. But just a little reminder, as we were just saying, that Charleston are going to have a go. That's exactly what they have in mind. Shoot when they get close to goal.
Raffanello. Out for Mandela Egbo. Williams. Inside, turning, Raffanello every which way, threads it through. And it's dealt with again by Charleston on the backside. Very dangerous player up there in Omar So. They're gonna have to be careful and mindful of him the entire evening. And feeding them up there, Sam Williams. That was a player that John Wolenek keyed in on, one of the youngsters, 16 years old. He's really come on of late. Here comes Perez again. Has DZ Harmon. Plops it that way in the area. And it's out for a corner.
Good pressure from Charleston Battery. It's a lovely little ball in there from Chabel Perez. Right into the danger area. Discussion about pulling and what goes on in the box, but referee not interested. But you watch, he has a look here, Chabel Perez. He decides he can't shoot, just chips it in. And he's looking for DZ Harmon. It just goes over DZ Harmon's head. And then Josh Penn just can't quite get in there at the far post. But good pressure from the home side.
Burke failing. Will distribute the corner. Well taken. Josh Penn, long way to keep it in. He can't. Penn, a player who joined midway through the season on loan from Inter Miami from MLS. Guy who was the 10th pick in the most recent draft. And he's coming in, he's made a difference for Charleston. As they've had to deal with a number of injuries, they've asked Penn to step up, step in, and he has delivered. Charleston coming off back-to-back 1-1 draws on the road against Atlanta and Miami. Two games that Coach Anhauser felt they were unlucky to not get the 3 points in. And right now, you start doing the math. Those are two games they may circle and look back on and feel there were 4 points total drop between those two games.
Yeah, possibly, but I still think a draw 1-1 in Miami is a good result.
Not a bad result.
Yeah, and in the 89th minute, Miami had a great chance there. Kuzminski made a fantastic save. We're just talking about how important he is. And then Martinez of Miami hooked the ball over the crossbar from close in. So, you know, I think you got in Miami, you take the point. The problem is when you're 7 points adrift of Charlotte, you know, getting a point here and there is not going to be enough. They do need now to have a fantastic run. And yet Mike Anhauser said it wasn't dissimilar to last season. They were chasing the playoff place, and he said towards the end, they got it all together and it clicked. I don't know if they can do it this season because they've got it's such a difficult division, this, and they've got so many good teams ahead of them. They're really under pressure now, Charleston Battery, and you said it right at the beginning. This is must win. If they don't win here, then their chances really start to look slim. I mean, they've got Pittsburgh away next, and then Tampa Bay home and away. Good luck with those 3 games.
Coach is hesitant sometimes to use that phrase until it's absolutely necessary. You don't want to overamp the team if it's too early in the season. Tough to call a June game a must-win. But here we are on September 22nd. The finish line is in sight.
Yep.
LaCava working around the edge on Benderosa, puts it in front. Was harmlessly through in the end, but not far off there. Sergeant Goma.
That's the danger for New York Red Bulls too. They're so talented in terms of their passing and their ability to get down the lines, to get balls into the box. Chances are they will score because they score in virtually every game, but the chances are they'll also concede. And I think that's the way Battery look at it, is for no matter what New York Red Bulls do to us, we'll do more back to them. So, you know, like in the previous game, it was a 3-2 win. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a similar result here tonight.
Overall, in the month of September, they're being outscored 12-3 by opponents. Laid off here, Raffanello. And it's last off of the hand of Raffanello.
And I think from a confidence point of view, if you're Charleston Battery and you look at the recent run of Red Bulls 2, they've lost 10 of the last 11 games. And they've conceded 56 goals in 24 matches. So you, as a player, you look at it and you go, this is a game we have to beat. This is a side who is wonderfully talented as they are. They're vulnerable. If we can't beat them, then possibly we don't deserve to go to the playoffs. And that's why, from a psychological point of view, this is a must-win as well. Never mind the 3 points, as if you don't beat New York Red Bulls, then where do you go to next when you've got Pittsburgh and Tampa Bay twice coming up?
It is a gauntlet of a division. You got to pick up points where you're supposed to, and that's against Red Bulls, against Loudoun. Those are the games, the quote-unquote supposed to pick up points games, because there have been a number of games this season where Red Bulls and Loudoun have proven stiff tests for the opposition and taken points away.
That's always the danger against these two sides, is that they have the talent, and you might just come up against them on a day when these young players are brilliant. I mean, Serge Ngoma, only 16 up front, but what a talent he is.
Here's DZ Harmon battling and losing that battle with Mandela Egbo. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit www.selectsportamerica.com. AJ Marcucci will get it back into play. Seen a fair bit of time in goal this season. 4 years at D3 Connecticut College, where he was twice the Division III Goalkeeper of the Year.
And also last season he had a spell at Guimarães B in Portugal. So he's learned a bit there, no doubt.
Egbo, good ball in, dangerous area. That goes to show you what this Red Bulls team could do if you give them time and space.
But now here's the opposite side. Akers to play in, good counter-attack possibilities.
Foul potentially in the middle, and the referee thinks about bringing it back. He let it go, play on. I think Charleston might have wanted that foul call. That would have been a free kick just a few yards out of the box, dead center. And you can see this hasn't amounted to anything momentarily, at least. Now slipped through. Chance to get a ball centrally. Opportunity here. It's saved by Marcucci. Perez has twice narrowly missed now.
That's a great strike from Perez. It came very quickly, left-footed strike, and Marcucci stretches across and pushes it wide of goals. But yeah, he's wondering to himself, what do I have to do to score? He hit the post with his first strike. The goalkeeper pulls off a wonderful save here. It gets knocked back very, very quickly from Joel Bunting here. Have a look, Joel. Head up, knocks it back straight away. Left foot. Good save, Marcucci.
Just as I was saying, they probably would have wanted the free kick. They turned it into a really good goal-scoring opportunity. What do I know? Corner sent in again by Failing. As last time, it was a little too strong. And the volley from Penn, almost identical result to the first corner they took. Heavy touch, taken away. Ngoma backtracking Kuzminski. Serge Ngoma has a chance here in the box. Ngoma puts it across, and it's in. Fall asleep for just a moment, and the Red Bulls can make you pay. Not sure if it's credited to Ngoma or touch somebody on the way in. Doesn't matter on the scoreboard. It's 1-0 to the visitors.
Yeah, well taken by the young man. Just 16 years of age, Serge Ngoma. We were talking about him and saying what a wonderful talent he is. And this is the counter-attack. A little bit of a mistake at the back there by Jared Van Schaik, who just got back in the team, and off goes Serge Ngoma. But look, he's still got a defender to beat and the goalkeeper to go around. And if he doesn't put it over the line, he gets it extremely close. I would credit him the goal anyway. He's done all the hard work, and it's impossible for the defender to get on the end of that. But what a run there from Serge Ngoma. And New York Red Bulls have dealt a dagger blow here to Charleston Battery in this must-win game for the Battery.
As we slowed it down and took a close look, it might go down as an own goal, but to your point, I think he deserves the credit for doing all the heavy lifting there, Serge Ngoma.
Well, the ball was going in anyway. I think it's an own goal if you direct it from outside of frame onto frame, then fair enough. But the ball's going in the back of the net. Give it to the person who took the shot. So fingers crossed it does go to Serge Ngoma, because he definitely deserves that. But tough blow for Battery. You have two great chances from Perez, and suddenly you're 1-0 down.
On the official stat sheet for now, it is credited to Ngoma, so hopefully it stays that way, as you mentioned. Certainly deserves it, Gary. And as a back line for Charleston, it's an unlikely source for that mistake as well. Your captain, Jared Van Schaik, who Mike Anhauser raved about having back in the lineup, such a big component of what they do defensively. An unlikely source for that mistake. And now the Battery have to get it back. They try to do so quickly. Harmon, his flicked header is wide. Quarter hour gone, and it's 1-0 Red Bulls.
It's always very difficult when you come back from a break, and for Van Schaik, he's been out for a while, and it takes you a while just to get into the groove. As we look at DZ Harmon up front, I mean, they can still, of course, Battery can still win this, and they've got so much attacking possibility. But we said beforehand that New York Red Bulls are likely to score, and they're likely to concede. Well, one half of that's already happened. Now it's up to Battery to make the other half happen. Look how the game's stretched. His body's trying to get back, and that's one thing New York Red Bulls do. They attack you very quickly.
And they follow it up with another rather quickly. They're going to have a corner. Well earned by Jake LaCava on the dribble. Look, we know how this season series has gone. This is far from over. The last two games, 3-2 and 2-2. So we've got a ways to go in this one at just 1-0.
Absolutely. And Mike Anhauser did say to us, he said, it's a shootout when you play New York Red Bulls too. He said, you've got to get forward because they get forward at you. And I think they expected that they could very well concede. What they mustn't do is obviously concede a second, and then it really becomes a massive mountain to climb.
Whipped in on the corner. Still loose. It falls here for Ngoma. Played across. Williams. And he commits the foul. For Ngoma, that's officially his third goal of the year as it stands. Still is credited to Ngoma.
Marceau trying to referee the match. The referee saying, leave it alone. I'll be the one who tells him where to put the ball. It's a good opportunity for this talented New York Red Bulls side to try and turn this season around a little bit. Never nice when you lose 10 out of 11. You're professionals. You got your pride. And to come here to the Battery and get a win would be a massive boost for John Molinek and his players. And they're going to fight hard to hold on to these 3 points. So this is a big test for the Battery. This could be a season-defining moment for them if they can't turn this around.
So was making the run centrally. Now it's Williams out for Egbo. Williams again. Had a chance to chat with John Molinek actually a couple of weeks ago before a match. And he said to keep an eye on Williams down the stretch here. That has proven prophetic over the last couple of weeks as the 16-year-old gets more appearances, more valuable minutes. And at this stage, as you mentioned, Gary, not going to make the playoffs in all likelihood, barring something miraculous here for the Red Bulls, but still a chance to build upon something for next season, for the future of a lot of teenagers or young 20-year-olds. Still a lot of opportunities here for valuable professional minutes as they work to build towards MLS and towards whatever is next in their careers. So the likes of Ngoma, who's a teenager and scored, the likes of a Williams in the midfield, who has come on of late. They're out of the race, sure, but still a lot of important minutes ahead down the stretch of the season.
No, absolutely. And at 16 years of age, they are still kids. They're still learning. They might look strong and quick, but they've got a lot of growth still ahead of them. And they have to learn from the losses. And when we were talking to John Molinek, he said, look, the last game, we lost 3-0 at home to Memphis. 9-1, we got off to a slow start. We were poor. We didn't do the right work. We gave them opportunities. Then we had a red card, which was a bit of a tough one against Edelman. But he was on a yellow. You had to be careful of the second yellow, and he wasn't. He said, and how do you come back from that? Very, very difficult. But the players need to learn not to get themselves in that situation in the first place. So long as the players learn, this is a fantastic arena for them to learn. And what they need to learn now is you 1-0 up. How do you manage the game from here? How do you not just throw it away and end up losing 3-1, for example? How do you get the second? How do you stop Battery scoring goals? Easier said than done, of course, but it's all part of their professional learning.
Harmon nearly put himself into space. Now it's Raffanello. Looked like he was lining up a shot. Instead puts it out wide for Egbo. Delivery towards So. It falls. Chance here from LaCava, and it deflects in. 2-0 Red Bulls.
What a shot. Can you believe it? Less than 20 minutes gone in this must-win match for Charleston Battery, and they're 2-0 down. But well done to these youngsters from New York Red Bulls too. LaCava with the goal. The ball whipped in from the right by Mandela Egbo, maybe given a little bit too much time and space and allowed to put the cross in. But then again, they didn't clear the header in the box, the Battery, and So nearly got on the ball. So have a look. The ball goes wide to Mandela Egbo. He's got time. He's got no one marking him. There's the missed header. So has a chance, and then maybe there's a deflection, I would think, because no, you don't beat Kuzminski that easily. But you haven't done your job as a defense. You've allowed a big ball to land in the box, and you've paid the price.
New York Red Bulls 2.
It was Ben DeRosa who seemed to misplay that. He initially misjudged the ball in to get a head on it before it fell to So. And then it looked like it was DeRosa who saw it deflect off his thigh, beating Kuzminski at the near post. For now, again, credited to LaCava, his 6th. And 6 minutes apart, Red Bulls score 2.
Wow, what a shock. Never expected this after 20 minutes, but Mike Anhauser and other coaches we've spoken to say when you're playing New York Red Bulls, you know they're going to come at you, you know they can score goals, you've got to be very tight in defense. Well, the first one was an error by Van Schaik. The second one, no pressure on Egbo at all, allowed to push the ball in, and poor defending for the header. So they've paid the price, but it's not over. They won the last one 3-2. Now they're going to have to score 3 goals unanswered to do that again.
In the all-time series, Red Bulls have Charleston's number. Only ever lost to this side twice. This injury break is brought to you by MUSC Health Sports Medicine. DeRosa worse for wear after that challenge. Deemed a clean challenge by John Matto. Looked clean as well, just an awkward fall for the defender.
He might have landed on his arm and winded himself in the process. But watching this game, besides all the New York Red Bulls 2 fans and Charleston Battery, there might be a few Charlotte fans who are watching going, hang on a second. You know, we don't even need to go and beat Miami if Charleston aren't going to win their games. We've got a 7-point gap. And imagine if they do beat Miami, it suddenly becomes 10 points. So, again, this could be a season-defining loss if it continues this way.
Another look here, see if we could figure out what happened to DeRosa. He might be right there, Gary. Just fell on his arm.
You get that elbow in your stomach, that can badly wind you for a while. It's also a good little moment for Charleston Battery and Mike Anhauser in picture there, just to think, what do we do? Because they have to turn this around. A loss here, and especially a Charlotte win against Miami, and it almost is over, especially given Pittsburgh and Tampa twice for the next 3 games. And they've got Charlotte away. So, you know, with that run coming, wow, it's more than a mountain to climb if they don't win this one.
It begs the question, we touched on it earlier, about the squad rotation here for Charleston with Pittsburgh on the docket coming up on the weekend. You wonder, you start second guessing 23 minutes in, down 2 goals. Would you have been better suited going for your full strength lineup tonight against a lesser opponent to secure the 3 points in the pocket and then worry about Saturday on Saturday?
And that's a very, very fair point. And in fact, that's what Pittsburgh did a few weeks ago. They played, I think it was New York Red Bulls 2, wasn't it? And they put their strongest team out. Then they went off to New Mexico United or one of those teams out west and took a weakened team. And they managed to sneak a draw in the last minute and get a point. Yeah, easy to say after the event. And I'm sure Mike Anhauser is thinking that right now. But too late. You've picked the team. You've tried to go for 6 points, which is a win here and a win at Pittsburgh. And now you're facing getting 0 points. So he's got those players on the bench. He can bring them on later in the game if he needs to.
They were already warming up, so we'll see how quickly he might dip into that bench. Charleston Battery has an entire new line of merchandise for their new era here at Patriots Point. Go to shop.charlestonbattery.com for the latest jerseys, t-shirts, hats, and more.
So I'm just remembering something John Wolyniec said to us when we chatted to him yesterday. He said to us, we're going to try and put numbers in front of their back line and see how they respond. In other words, we're going to test them at the back and see if they're up to it. Well, they've tested them twice, and twice Charleston Battery haven't been up to it.
Here's Ngoma trying to make it 3, and Ngoma slides it by. Not sure if that was a pass, hoping that So would be there, but in the end, Charleston again lucky at the back to not be down 3 here.
He's a good talent, isn't he? 16 years of age, Serge Ngoma. And John Wolyniec there must be super happy with him, because if he keeps progressing like this with his pace, his ability to turn in the box, he could turn out to be one of the top players in the USL and obviously work his way to the MLS.
Flag goes up on Red Bulls. We'll take another look at that last opportunity here for New York.
Just Leland Archer, you can't let that ball bounce too much. When you're much, much bigger, you've got to win it in the air to begin with. He lets it bounce, and once it does, Serge Ngoma's quicker. He can turn the bigger man, which he does. Just shoots wide of Kuzminski's goal. But this is going to be it is going to be a slugfest, exactly as Mike Anhauser said. A shootout, he called it, to use his words, and I think now it's gloves off. They just got to go for a Battery. They've got to just get shots in, get effort in there, because they're looking very vulnerable at the back defensively, the Battery. And the best way to defend if you're vulnerable is to get the ball the other end and start attacking the opposition.
Conventional wisdom of when to substitute perhaps goes out the window here when the situation presents itself in the standings. How soon might be too soon, though, still, for Mike Anhauser to dip into that bench? We showed you the shot at home of them already warming up down in the corner.
Yeah, I doubt anything will happen first half, because if you do, you run the risk of destroying a player's confidence. Anyone who gets subbed first half, anything other than an injury, it's because you're having a nightmare. So I don't think Mike will do that. I'm assuming that second half he'll wait, he'll give his players 10, 15 minutes to try and do something, and if they fail, then he'll start to bring on not 1 or 2, but 3 or 4 and really shake things up.
Egbo, every chance they get, they're looking forward to Omar So. Now it's LaCava and some space. Pressure again, wins it. Ngoma. Goal kick.
Sloppy at the back from Battery. Just nothing's working for them. They started off well. Looks like Ngoma's got a bit of a knock. Started off well, didn't it? For the Battery with those 2 shots from Perez, you think, oh, they're up for it today. And then since then, it's been Red Bulls attacking and such vulnerability in the Charleston defense.
Down the stretch here for Red Bulls. One thing that John Wolyniec is potentially looking forward to is some more consistency in the lineup. He noted, look, he doesn't mean it in a bad way, but most of the time there usually isn't roster consistency, but it's a good thing because it means players are having their opportunity in MLS. We've seen it this year with the likes of Drew Yearwood, with the likes of Omar So, who have had their MLS opportunities this season. So he didn't say it's a bad thing necessarily. Of course, great for the players, but it does hurt the chemistry of the team as they try to grow together. Now, though, down the stretch, looking like they're going to have some more stability, and as that continues to grow, this is a team you probably don't want to play too often down the stretch here. Early in the season, you picked up your points against them, good on Tampa Bay, good on Pittsburgh. When they went against Loudoun and New York, picked up the points and helped give themselves a bit of a cushion. Down the stretch here, as you quite rightly said earlier, on any given day, this Red Bulls team very, very dangerous, and they're showing that now.
Yeah, and also because they don't have much to play for. You know, it's pressure for Charleston Battery. They have to win, and that pressure gets to professional players. You know, the crowd are coming here. They want to support you. The manager needs you to win. For John Wolyniec, he's got players who are a lot more relaxed. They've lost 10 of the last 11. Expectations are low. They can come here and play their game and play without concern, although there is concern, obviously, over Serge Ngoma's injury, which I don't think they want to take a risk with. But if he says he's okay, then he's good to go. But yeah, it's a relaxed team. They're youngsters, but I do sense that if Battery want to get something out of this, they're going to have to get a little bit more physical. They're older, stronger players, and it's always a golden rule when you're down and you're struggling. You get a bit physical, you test the opposition, see their willingness to match you for commitment, and that could be the next maneuver from Charleston Battery, getting stuck in and really getting in the faces of the younger New York Red Bulls 2 side.
And as you said, that desperation has to be there because the road ahead at Pittsburgh, home Tampa Bay, at Tampa Bay.
Good luck with those 3.
Here's Harmon as they try to get one back. Shrieking in the middle, Perez. Pinballs around in the corner, and it yields another corner kick for the home side.
And this is where they can take advantage. You get your big players up. You get Van Schaik up and Leland Archer. And of course, you've got DC Harmon up there. They've got all the big boys. Now they're physically stronger. They're more mature. They can take advantage of set pieces. And when you're 2-0 down, you don't care where the goals come from. Corners, set pieces, deflections. You'll take anything.
24-year-old USL veteran Burke failing, sends it in, and it's headed away by Egbo. Out for DeRosa, now failing again. Chance to get a second ball in. Same result, this time it's Omar Sow on the clearance. Failing, puts it up to Perez.
There's a chance to cross the ball there, and then you try and dribble. Now it's only a throw-in, opportunity lost, but good defending by Red Bulls. A couple of balls into the box that they dealt with well.
3 corner kicks now for Charleston, and all 3 have been dealt with immediately by New York. And they give it away.
The thing for New York Red Bulls, though, is that these balls are going to keep on coming in. They're going to keep testing them, keep trying to get a high ball there to DC Harmon. Set piece is always going to be tough. So they might be defending them well now, but they've got to keep it going for the entire 90 minutes of the game.
Patterson. Here's Penn. We haven't seen Joshua Penn get involved much through a half an hour. One of the guys that Mike Anhauser highlighted that needs to step up, that second tier of guys beyond the Repetto and Zico Lewis, Zaracostas, beyond that tier of players. They turn to a Joshua Penn to be an X factor here in this playoff race. Red Bulls are looking to put it forward any chance they get and put this back line under pressure.
Yeah, but managers know that. Mike Anhauser told us that. Other managers we've spoken to, Bob Lilly, a whole bunch, and they all say the same thing. They're vertically very quick. They just get the ball straight up and they attack with numbers, and they push their fullbacks up. But because of that, they can be caught on the counter-attack themselves if you can win the ball and if you can thread it through, which Charleston Battery have struggled to do.
Great ball here from So, put across.
Oh.
Opportunity was there again. Coming from the left side, it was Mike Knapp.
Again, that's another great chance for New York Red Bulls. When they create the chances, they're very good ones. Lovely play here, far too easy. And he's beaten the Benderosa, is not close enough, and that is inches away from being the 3rd goal. So when they create chances, New York Red Bulls, they create really good ones. Can't say the same yet for the Battery.
Charlotte, Miami has yet to kick off still in a weather delay. And Charlotte will be involved in the next nationally televised game. 2 clubs battling over the Atlantic Division's final playoff spot takes center stage when the USL and ESPN continues. Charlotte Independence travels north to Dillon Stadium to take on Hartford Athletic Thursday, September 30th at 8 Eastern on ESPN Deportes. Chance on the set piece now for the Battery.
Dangerous place for Knapp to give away that free kick, because they're going to keep bombing balls in. The way Battery are playing right now, they're struggling to create opportunities in open play. And when that happens, you turn to each other and you say, right, put the ball in, let's score from a set piece, let's get ourselves back in the game. At 2-1, they might start to panic, the Red Bulls being a younger side, and then you get the second. So set pieces could turn out to be the way in for Charleston Battery.
1 point will be better than none, but therein lies the issue right now for Charleston. You get the first one, maybe it puts the pressure to get the second. You need a third.
Absolutely.
That's the thing right now.
Got to win this. Got to be 3 points as far as the Battery are concerned.
Failing will pull the trigger, as he has on the couple of corner kicks so far that New York has dealt with well. Good delivery in the area. Chance here, and they pull one back. Joel Bunting gets it done.
There you go, set pieces, proved the way back in for Charleston Battery, and now this could all turn around for them. It's been a really tough first half an hour, nothing's gone well, and the Battery, there we go. We're going to have an example of a cannon fire, but they're back in this game, Charleston Battery. They got in the hard way through a set piece, good ball in, fighting for it, winning the header, which we thought they would eventually do. And Joel Bunting, quickest to react there, knocks it past Marcucci. He's got absolutely no chance whatsoever. And now Battery will really start to try and power on that pressure against this young New York Red Bulls 2 side.
Third of the season for Joel Bunting. That dazzling play is brought to you by Diamonds Direct. And it's exactly what the Battery needed.
Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Here's Bunting again. See if they can do it back-to-back and get right back in this game. Threaded through, cleared away. Gary, in all the games that you and I have had the pleasure of calling this season, one thing you always say, if a team is desperate for a goal, just bomb it forward, try to get something in the box, and set pieces, set pieces, set pieces. Rings true every time, Gary.
It does. When you're desperate and you're against a team that's a bit younger than you, then you're always going to get your rewards.
Here's DZ Harmon looking to make a play. Cuts in. Harmon might have taken a deflection. It did. So another chance on a set piece here from the corner for the Battery.
It's all changed, hasn't it? The momentum has changed to the Battery. They're confident. They're going for it. DC Harmon, a good run here, and so unlucky at the end. He's got power, he's got pace, cuts inside. It's going in the far corner. Defender gets a touch there, and it's a great touch from Juan Castillo. Just puts it wide of the post to save his team.
Failing. Still loose. LaCava works to get it away and tries to counter quickly. 2v3, working with Ngoma. Good run tracking back by Joshua Penn to make it a 2v4, but here goes LaCava still. Was waiting for him to send it across to Ngoma, or maybe slow it down and wait for some help. Just put his head down and kept going.
That's how they do it, isn't it? They're very, very direct, although you're right, he had Ngoma there. Maybe he could have passed Ngoma, especially considering how quick Serge Ngoma is. Now it's back to the Battery. They're going to keep putting the pressure on, keep going.
Look at that footwork from A.J. Patterson. Nice play by Knapp to win it back. A moment ago, it was Battery who were maybe just clinging on, hoping for halftime. Now it's the other way around. These last 10 minutes plus stoppage time can't come quickly enough for New York all of a sudden.
It's amazing how goal changes a match in these situations. But the best way to beat New York Red Bulls, I think, is to go at them, because they're vulnerable in defense, but they're wonderful in attack. So rather have them on the back foot. Ooh.
Strong delivery all the way across. Ends up at the feet of Bunting. Pulled back for Crawford. Takes his space, chips it, punched away by Marcucci. And he had to punch that away because Perez was there for a wide open tap in at the back post. "57 goals allowed this season. That is a remarkable number. Not remarkable in a good way.
Yes, yes, no, absolutely. It's the second worst in the entire USL behind Las Vegas Lights, who have conceded 60 in 25 matches. But then you look at the positive side, their scoring is fantastic. Their speed of transition is amazing. And that's what John Wolinek wants from his side. But ideally, of course, he would like them to be defensively astute as well, which hasn't been their strong point this season.
Stop by guest services located behind the supporter section and talk to the membership team.
Nap the player down.
Renewing for 2022.
Fourth and final meeting of the regular season between these two teams. I mentioned it when it was 1-0 Red Bulls. This game was far from over with the goals that we've seen, not only in this season series, but in the all-time series history. A lot of goals when these teams meet. There you see it, 5 multi-goal games, 8 multi-goal games. They score a lot. Only 2 clean sheets for Red Bulls in 15 meetings overall. There's goals when these two teams meet.
Yep, certainly is. And we've had them already tonight, and I think there's still some more to come. But if you talk about goals, I think one of the biggest problems for New York Red Bulls is they're not scoring as many as they should compared to their expected goals. Expected goals is 34. They've only scored 27, so they're a bit low there. Their expected goals against is 45. They've conceded 56, so more than they should do. And therefore, their expected points of 26 have only got 16. So they're performing well below what they should be given the efforts on goals and given how they're defending. And that's where they need to improve. For the Battery, they're performing better than expected because they're a solid team. They take their chances a little bit more efficiently. So I think expected goals and actual gives you a sense of the efficiency of the team. As defenders and attackers, Charleston Battery far more efficient than the younger New York Red Bulls, who are still learning their trade.
You had the number when we were chatting off the air before the game. What was it, 21 shots, just 4 on target on Sunday for the Red Bulls? It's a big disparity between the two.
Yes, it was, yeah. And funny enough, for Memphis 901, they had 11 shots and 9 on target, and they won 3-0. Virtually every one of their shots was on target, and they got their just rewards. So, but we've seen a different New York Red Bulls. Not so much about shots, it's about pace against the defense of Charleston Battery, who's been caught out on a cross, and caught out with Van Schaik in terms of having the ball robbed off you. So individual errors perhaps from the Battery defense.
Here's Harmon, already has a goal to his name against the Red Bulls this season. Perez nearly threaded the needle there. Taken away by Williams. Space again for Williams. Has options in front of him. Zayat for Knapp. Over Williams' head, there goes that possession. Join USL in celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month through October 15th. Visit uslsoccer.com/Hispanic-heritage for exclusive content and stories that celebrate members of the Hispanic community who have shaped the USL. Perez dropping very deep to help out here. Kuzminski showing as an option. Always dangerous when the pass back to the goalkeeper is on frame. He's got to make sure he gets his foot to it.
Well, he was concentrating so much on that, he mishit the pass out to the right full back, and possession lost. That's a good high press there from New York Red Bull, and Charleston unable to play through it.
Gary, as a goalkeeper, you always want that left or right of the goal, right? Yes. Not on frame, just in case you miss it.
Never on frame. Because it can bounce, it can hit a little bobble and bounce over you. But again, for defenders, they can't always get it outside of the frame. So when it comes the way it did there for Kuzminski, you just got to concentrate.
Marcucci gives it away. Only momentarily. Here's Williams and LaCava. Over the top looking for So, and Kuzminski is there.
Look at that match stretch. 1 second, it's at one end of the, one box, boom, it goes right through to Kuzminski at the other end of the pitch. That's New York Red Bull style. Very quick in transition.
Here's Harmon. Pulls it back. And nothing doing there in the end for Joshua Penn. Pleading his case, there was a deflection, but it'll be a goal kick for the visitors.
It looked like he took a shot and it got partially blocked, so maybe he's got a good case. Either way, referee doesn't agree with him and doesn't give it. Good pressure here from Charleston Battery, forcing Red Bulls to go high in the sky, and then the bigger players of Battery should, in theory, win the loose ball.
Back for DeRosa. Slots it through for Harmon in space. Bunting ahead of him. Goes wide to the left for Perez. Overlap coming. Perez takes it himself. He had Crawford in space in the box. Patterson serves one up. And Marcucci snares it.
Good idea from A.J. Patterson, but it's a little bit too close to the keeper. The idea is to get ball in there for D.C. Harmon at the back post. But it was floated, so it had time on it. It wasn't too far away from the keeper in the end. Easy for A.J. Marcucci to come and pluck out of the air. I'm sure Battery would love a second just before half-time here, just to make the half-time team talk a little bit different.
And for as much as they would love it, as we said earlier, Red Bulls want this halftime whistle to blow. That's why Marcucci is in no hurry there.
It is all building up to another one of these classic 2-2s or 3-2s that they've served up in the last 3 occasions. Although you do sense Battery have got themselves back in the game, and the momentum is slightly more with the home side at the moment.
Psychologically, seeing 2-1 instead of 2-0 at the half as well
difference.
is a massive difference.
Yeah, big difference. And conversely, it worries New York Red Bulls. So, you know, 2-0, they're very confident, knocking it around. At 2-1, they're beginning to think, wow, we're under pressure here. So that affects the way the visitors play. Also fires up the crowd. When the crowd get behind Charleston Battery, that's going to only help the team in yellow and black.
Flag goes up. Charlotte and Miami have kicked off. They're in minute number 5. It's still 0-0. We will keep you updated on that as this game goes along. Harmon looking around, wondering why the run never came from Bunting, who thought he was offside, and now the two exchange words. Bunting wanted that ball a lot sooner.
He did, and you're right, he just stopped his run, and Harmon not able to see it. His head wasn't up, so a bit of miscommunication between the two boys up front.
6 minutes of extra time brought to you by MUSC Health Sports Medicine. So a couple of injuries there in the first half.
There was a Sergeant Goma one, wasn't
right,
there?
Yep.
He was down for quite a while.
DeRosa was down for quite a bit as well.
Yep.
And then the third one was Mike Knapp was down for a little bit. So unusually large number for the first half, but we'll see if either team could do anything with it.
I think one of the biggest advantages for the Battery is going to come in the second half, because their substitutes bench is very, very powerful indeed. Repetto can come up, and he's a big guy up front. Angelo Kelly, he can bring extra legs in midfield. Zara Costas and Zico Lewis, of course, with 4 goals and 8 assists, has had a fantastic season. So that's a very powerful bench. And for New York Red Bulls, well, they've got 3 17-year-olds and a 15-year-old on the bench.
Here's Bunting. Has a goal already. Cleanly taken down in the box. Well done defensively by Amir Tumble. Raffanello. Haven't heard much from Raffanello so far in this one. 4 goals, 6 assists. Leads the team in assists.
You're right. He normally has a much bigger impact on the team. He's the sort of go-to player to get the ball from defense and quickly transition and slip in the front two of Omar Sow or Sergeant Goma. Him and Jake LaCava both playing in those 10, you know, the sort of 10 role.
Here's Ngoma dropping a bit deeper to receive. So he's forced the wrong way. Ngoma in the 14th minute, LaCava in the 20th, and then Charleston pulled it back through Joel Bunting in the 34th. Just confirmation there that both of those Red Bulls goals did remain as credited to Red Bulls players rather than own goals. They both were deflected on the way in. But Ngoma gets his 3rd and LaCava gets his 6th. And Harmon gets this foul call.
Yeah, DC Harmon, big, powerful player there. So it's going to be a handful for Amir Tumble. No intention to hurt, which is why DC Harmon is just showing a bit of care and concern. But again, second half, when you're up against bigger, more mature players, towards the end of the game, it gets tougher and tougher for the younger players of New York Red Bulls too. Tumble himself only 20, Knapp 21, Sam Williams 16, LaCava 20, Raffanello 21, Omar Sow 20, and of course Sergeant Gomez 16. You do start to tire a little bit more quickly at the end of the game. And of course, as mentioned, Battery's bench are going to bring on some really powerful players who are going to be fresh and ready to go. So massive second half being lined up. If you are watching, you want to make sure you come back for the second half, because it's going to be a good one.
Flag up again on the Red Bulls. Very choppy bit of stoppage time here. Back and forth. I think both of these teams now may be content to get into the break.
Referee just having a word and saying let the Battery players take their free kick.
Between Repetto, Zaracostas, and Lewis. That is 13 goals on the bench that Charleston could bring in the second half.
Oh, yeah, it's still a long way to go yet. Well done to Red Bulls for a fantastic start to the game, but the pressure will just keep being ramped up by the Battery, no doubt. But doesn't mean to say Red Bulls can't counter-attack as they did earlier in the game and get a third. That's also a possibility.
Good ball in for Perez. Trying to turn the corner. Here's Perez. Can they get one right before the break? Vital intervention is made there before Crawford could do anything with it.
DZ Harmon saying to Perez, I was in the box, just don't play it back and just get it in the box where I'm waiting for it. Which is a fair point. He'd done all the hard work there. Perez down that left-hand side, got himself in the box. The option was DZ Harmon for a pass. Have a look, brilliant bit of skill. And instead of going back, if he'd have crossed it, you'll see DZ Harmon in the middle. Easy to say after the event, of course. Once again, Battery able to get into that box of New York Red Bulls and threaten, something they battled to do in the first 20 minutes, but since then, been a lot more positive.
Marcucci loses his shin guard as he boots it all the way down to Kuzminski, goalkeeper to goalkeeper. Charleston perhaps playing for their season in this one. A match in which you'd expect them to pick up points. They need 3. The road ahead, Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, Tampa Bay. 7 points back of Charlotte entering the night with a game in hand. Very tight Atlantic Division, but a very stacked Atlantic Division. Not going to be easy to pick up points down the stretch. They'll try to pick up 3 in the second half, but right now it's the visitors up 2-1. John Wolinek's crew, a really strong half.
Yeah, well done, Sergeant Goma. Fantastically taken goal and so exciting in attack, but they know they're in for a tough second half. Battery, the better part of the last 15 minutes. They're getting stronger. They have all the assets on the bench. They're going to keep coming at New York Red Bulls in the second half. Should be a fantastic next 45 minutes.
It was Ngoma in the 14th, LaCava in the 20th. And then on the flip side for Charleston, in the 34th minute, Joel Bunting to make it 2-1 here tonight at Patriots Point on Hometown Heroes Night in Charleston. We're back in a moment with the halftime show and then the second 45 between the Battery and the Red Bulls.
How has COVID-19 impacted you and your family?
We haven't seen each other.
We've had to stay in a lot.
A lot of frustration, a lot of fear.
If there's one thing you want people to know about the vaccine, what would it be?
The vaccine is really a bright light at the end of this dark tunnel.
We can start living normal again.
Help us to go back to church. Porque sé que es algo que me va a proteger y yo necesito proteger a mi familia.
It can save your life.
Learn more at vaccinatesc.com.
I learned that people are just looking for somebody to listen to them. You can't just start cutting somebody's hair and you're gonna be quiet the whole time because you're not gonna be in business long.
The South Carolina Education Lottery has provided over $800 million to help students attend technical colleges across our state, investing in a new generation of entrepreneurs, just like James.
Shareholders are very happy.
At the break between Charleston and New York Red Bulls 2 in a massive matchup in terms of the playoff race here in the Atlantic Division. And with that, we take a look at those standings here because everything is so tight coming down to the wire. Charlotte right now occupies 4th. Charleston coming into the day, of course, a game in hand, 7 points back. It's an uphill battle, but by no means is this race over.
Oh, not at all. I mean, if you get a good run of 3 or 4 wins, that's 12 points. You could shoot right at the table. Conversely, if you lose a whole bunch, you're going to slide down. But there is a big gap for Charleston to make up, and it would take Charlotte to lose a few matches. They do play each other, and given that Charlotte had to play some of the teams above them, they could easily lose points.
And Charleston knows better than any team. They hit a little slump. Charlotte won 3 in a row, and they flip-flop, so they can try and return the favor now as things go along. Coming up this weekend, some big matchups from around the division. Tampa Bay just running away with it. The question with them is not whether they win, not whether they lose. Will anybody score on them at this point?
Yeah, well, they do sometimes, like Dodson did there for Hartford. But very, very difficult. Jeff Calder making a couple of saves, but Tampa Bay just keep coming at you, don't they? Lewis Hilton with the ball in here, and they get you on the high ball, they get you on the loose ball, they work so hard, they make things possible. Lewis Hilton here just winning it, pulling it back, and next thing, back of the net. That's Tampa Bay's pressure.
If you score against Tampa Bay, make sure you save the ball because it does not happen often right now. They are trying to run away with home field throughout the league getting into the playoffs. And Miami, a team that has hung around all year, has turned some heads. They are genuinely a championship threat. They have one coming up against Loudoun.
Yeah, they're very, very good. Paul Dalglish has put together a side packed with talent, and for Loudoun, well, they concede a lot of goals. They do score the occasional ones. They can be a threat, but for Jermaine Forder in goals, well, it's been a lot of goals flying past the goalkeeper. It's been a tough season so far for the boys and men in red and white, and I've no doubt that Miami will squeeze that pressure even more.
And there's maybe some talk all of a sudden about Miami finishing in 2nd in the Atlantic. They've got 2 games in hand on Pittsburgh. They're back by just 5 points. That's something that didn't seem likely to happen maybe a month or so ago, but now all of a sudden that possibility is there. That's it for our look around the Atlantic. We're back to this one in a moment. Charleston and New York Red Bulls 2.
Today, as you step onto the field, as you defend and attack, as you move swift, quick, like you were made for this, know that you do not do so alone. With each step, you run with all of the women before you and all of the women that will come after you. A stampede of mujeres blazing a trail on fire. Time cannot catch you. Para ti no existen los límites. You come from women that transformed pain into victory. Women that accepted impossible as a challenge. A challenge is brought to you and you do not turn away. Your journey today awaits you and you do not step down. You step into your purpose. You step strong. Con toda la fuerza de mujer. You step up.
I am a first-generation student here at Bellevue University. I feel like if I were to have gone to a different university, my experience would have been a lot more stressful and overwhelming because I feel like I wouldn't have gotten that personal experience that Bellevue University has to offer.
Tees it up, what a strike, and what a goal! Hartford has a goal!
His right-footed shot, headed in, knocked away. Looking for Para, could fall for an opportunity here, the shot comes in! Oh, it's brilliant!
Back here at Patriots Point, there's some competition going on the field as they're trying to score some goals themselves, the fans. We've had plenty of goals ourselves here in the first half, as it is hometown heroes night tonight in Mount Pleasant. And with that, we take a look around USL Championship with some news and notes. Keeps on growing, Gary. USL Super League announced it launches in 2023, a professional Division II women's league. And then elsewhere around USL Championship, big news out of Colorado. Michi Galina on loan to LAFC with an option to purchase. And the Clear Audio Player of the Week, Sebastian Guenzati, 2 goals against Atlanta United 2 this past Saturday. Tampa Bay continues to roll here in the Atlantic Division. Take a look at the upcoming ESPN schedule for the league. A lot of big games here, Gary. Which one are you most excited for?
Wow, I mean, you can see Charleston Battery's match against Tampa Bay is there. That's a tough one for them. Hartford Athletic, if they don't beat Charlotte, their season's virtually over as well. So they're fighting for their lives in that Atlantic Division. Lou City are looking good, but New Mexico United aren't certain to be in the playoffs. And OKC Energy also on the borderline of playoffs in their division. So at this stage of the season, so much to play for.
This is why you're a pro. I ask you which one you're most excited for, and you get us excited for all 4 of them as we come down the stretch here. We take a look at the scoreboard. That's not something you want to see as a Charleston fan. Charlotte with a 1-0 lead over Miami, which puts the Battery 10 points back now in the live table. We mentioned it off the air, Gary. Charleston can win and do all they're supposed to do, but you also need Charlotte to drop some points, and right now they just keep on chugging along.
They do, but there's 45 minutes still to go. Well, in fact, there's more than that because there's only 15 minutes into the game. It's 45 for Charleston Battery still to go. So that could all change, and you know, especially against a team as good as Miami FC, and for the Battery, they need to turn their game around. But yes, this is now the 45 minutes of the season that could see Charleston Battery say goodbye to the players if things do not turn around both for them and against Charlotte.
Not what these fans want to see, though, and we'll see what happens in the next 45.
Hey, we should go on tour together.
My schedule's wide open.
Feel like a rock star. Get access to VIP perks and much more at BudLightLegends.com.
You can be legendary.
Prepare to be swept off your feet. Enjoy VIP perks and more at BudLightLegends.com.
Rosberg takes the championship 34 years after his father.
Child arrived just the other day. Came to the world in the usual way. And he was talking for I knew it. And as he grew, he'd say, I'm gonna be like you, Dad. You know I'm gonna be like you.
I'm driving.
Zero alcohol.
Charleston is a water town.
Being on the water is part of the lifestyle here. Whether you're fishing or boating, you've got so many family-friendly activities.
There are so many spots to go, from beaches to the marsh. Nature is a big reason why people actually come here.
It's absolutely breathtaking.
In any season, you can find your paradise, really.
Hometown Heroes Night tonight. Nice to see a lot of the local first responders honored here at Charleston Battery as they reach out into the community and give a lot of very, very well-deserving people the recognition here tonight before the game. And with that, we take a look at the game we have had so far with first half highlights of this current 2-1 scoreline right now in the visitors' favor, Gary.
Yeah, it is, and it started with a goal from Serge Ngoma. Mistake here by Jared Van Schaik, just back in the team. He gets dispossessed, and Ngoma goes through. He's still got a defender to beat and keeper, and he goes around Kuzminski, gets it over the line from a very tight angle. He just can't quite kick it off the line, but well done to Serge Ngoma. At 16 years of age, the ability to go past the defender, past the keeper, and still slot the ball in the back of the net. Absolutely brilliant from the youngster.
And glad they did credit him with that goal as we look at it over and over. That ball was earmarked for the far corner, even if it weren't touched. And this one as well, another one that could have been an own goal, but LaCava powers it off the thigh of Benderosa.
Yeah, well, Benderosa not dealing with the header. And look at the space that Mandela Egbo has here to get the ball in. Benderosa goes out, doesn't head it. So can't quite get on the end of it. And then it's unfortunate for Benderosa. He then deflects the ball into his own net. But credit again for New York Red Bulls for all the attacks early on in the game.
6th of the season that was for LaCava, but they get one back 14 minutes later, courtesy of Joel Bunting.
Yep, free kick into the box, flicked on at the near post, then it can go anywhere, goes to Joel Bunting, he thumps it past Marcucci and goals. They're back, and then from then onwards, Battery looked by far the stronger of the two sides. Stats pretty even, both have 2 shots on target, not much more than that. Red Bulls, with that one step up from Van Schaik in particular, took advantage of, but I still think there's so much more to change, or potentially to change in the second half, especially with the quality of subs that Charleston Battery can bring on. Repetto, their top scorer, Zico Lewis, their top assist maker. If they start throwing those players on, then Red Bulls are going to have their hands full.
First half stats were brought to you by Heineken. And as you mentioned, Gary, they do have those subs in their pocket. Part of the reason is that we believe they're saving some of them for Pittsburgh. That's a big game coming up on the weekend here for the Battery. And then it's those 2 tough ones, home and away with Tampa Bay, Hartford, and Charlotte. All the teams right now in this race here in the Atlantic.
Yeah, you couldn't get a tougher run-up coming for Charleston Battery. And the bottom line is they're either good enough to beat these teams or they're not going to make the playoffs. Charlotte away is a 6-pointer, but away at Charlotte at the moment, that's a tough one. Hartford are fighting for their lives because they're just level with Charleston Battery. So, yeah, 5 incredibly difficult games. If they don't win at least 2, maybe 3 of those, chances are they're not going to make the playoffs.
Here for New York Red Bulls, too. Again, barring something miraculous here down the stretch, they're not making the postseason, but still really good opportunities for a lot of these young players to score some valuable minutes in their growth process. And a decently tough schedule ahead for them with Charlotte and Tampa Bay on the road back-to-back.
Yeah, but before that, they've got teams against, games against teams at the bottom of the table. Real Monarchs at the bottom, Loudon just behind New York Red Bulls. So potentially 6 points there. But then at Charlotte, that's a tough one. At Tampa Bay Rowdies, that's a tough one. And then Loudon again, they should get points there.
Appears for the moment that all 11 players who started for Charleston are still out there for the Battery. We'll wait and see when Mike Enhauser dips into the bench, and a loaded bench it is tonight, as we have touched on a number of times, with the likes of Zarakostas, Lewis, Kelly, and Repetto. Red Bulls do make a change. It's a like-for-like change. Matthias Jorgensen enters atop the formation as Sergeant Goma, who already left his mark on this game with the opening goal, will exit.
Which is not a surprise, and Goma did hurt his knee, and he did seem to run a little bit sort of carefully afterwards. And you don't want to take a risk with a player as young as that. So, mind you, Jorgensen, he can play as well. One appearance for the Danish national team, so decent enough player.
Time for the second half.
Underway in half number 2 from left to right in the yellow and black, the home Battery, and from right to left in the all-red, the visiting Red Bulls, who still have that 2-1 lead. Alongside Gary Bailey, I'm Joe Malfa. Glad you could join us here this evening in a must-win game for Charleston. Not just this one, but Mike Enhauser said every time they're at home the rest of the season, if they don't come away with 3 points, it's not the result they needed on the night.
Yeah, and given how tough their next 2 away matches, or next 3 away matches are, Pittsburgh, Tampa, and Charlotte, then they absolutely have to win their home games and still, I think, pick up something on the road where they can. But crucial 45 minutes to go for the Battery.
Here's So. Knotted along by Jorgensen. Back out. Zayats. Now Raffanello bides his time, finds help in the form of Sam Williams, and all the way back from your tumble. Perez gets a foot in. That'll go Red Bull's way. Just the one sub again to get to you, brought to you by Home Team Barbecue. And Ngoma out, Jorgensen in. Here's LaCava, has it blocked.
And I'm pretty sure Mike Enhauser's had a really stern talk to his players. He's going to ask for more commitment in the tackle, especially winning the 50-50s, pressurizing New York Red Bulls, and probably said to them, look, I've got ammunition on the bench. Give me 15, 20 minutes, run yourself into the ground, and I'll sub you, especially those players up front. DZ Harmon, for example, Joel Bunting, Burke Failing. He's going to want them to really run their hearts out for the next 15, 20 minutes.
Mandela Egbo cuts in, sends it with the left foot. That's disastrous to start the half for Charleston, but it's great for the Red Bulls. Raffanello nods it home.
That's incredible. Brilliant skill again. Great ball from Egbo. And that's not the first time he had the assist or a part assist for the second goal. Ball whipped in from wide. Absolutely everything Charleston Battery didn't want. Everything that John Wallinek and Picture did want. What a fantastic ball in. What a great header from Raffanello. Pace, and look at the space for Egbo. He's got time, can touch the ball, comes on back on his left foot. And who's picking up Raffanello in the box? It gets ahead at the near post. Nothing Kuzminski could do. Good header at the near post. And it's too close for the keeper to stop it.
5th of the season for Raffanello. We talked in the first half, near the end of that half, that we hadn't really heard from him. Well, he made his presence known right away to begin the second half.
Well, if Mark Anhauser was going to take his time over the substitutions, he might have just moved that forward a good few minutes, because now they are desperate and they're going to score 3 goals to at least get the 3 points, assuming they don't concede another one. That's a lot of goals to get. And this is now a desperate 45 minutes ahead for Charleston Battery, especially as Charlotte are leading against Miami. It's the worst possible evening.
Punched out by Kuzminski, only as far as Sohu chips it. Wide.
Wow, and he had a chance there, so, because there was no goalkeeper on the line, no defenders.
Charlotte still with a 1-0 lead in their game. It's Charleston down 10 points in the live standings.
Couldn't be a worse possibility from a Charleston Battery point of view than what's happening here this evening. With them losing against a team they would be expected to win, with all due respect to New York Red Bulls, given they've lost 10 of the last 11. And Charlotte beating Miami, and it's a game that they wouldn't have expected Charlotte to win. Couldn't be anything worse for the Battery fans watching this evening.
And the other thing that goal does for the Red Bulls is it silences a crowd that was waiting for something to get up for here to begin this second half, hoping that their side could be the one to supply the early goal in the second half and completely turn the momentum and the mood about Patriots Point. Instead, silence.
Now it's up to Battery to get another goal back and try and get that crowd to life again.
Great ball slipped through by LaCava, cut across by Jorgensen.
Jorgensen, if that ball's better and it's into Omar So's path, that's a potential 4th goal. Again, their speed at which they transition into attack is lightning quick, and it's exposed the Charleston Battery defense time and time again. Very impressive by this team in red. They really have been so exciting in attack and so quick, dynamic.
Archer, good ball into space here, taken down. Here's Failing. Plays the ball to nobody in particular. Mike Anhauser talked about finding the balance between the attack and the defense. A couple of months ago, or into August, they were scoring at will, but they were also conceding a lot. Tonight, they've played open, they've tried to, they know they have to, as they try to go for 3 points. The concessions have been there, the goals have not. That's the problem right now for the Battery.
And they've conceded too many goals that they shouldn't concede from set pieces. Mistakes at the back by Van Schaik for one, Ben DeRosa for another. It's so unlike Charleston Battery. Again, credit New York Red Bulls for taking the opportunities when they came their way.
Joshua Penn plays it through. Harmon almost got a touch to that. Instead, it's just wide.
At least that's better. They've got to get on the front foot now. This is now a punching match. They've just got to go for goals. They're going to have to take risks, Charleston Battery, and just hope that they don't concede any more poor defensive goals, and they're just going to try and batter New York Red Bulls and get themselves back in the match.
There's some activity on the Battery bench.
Wouldn't surprise me if Repetto, Zico Lewis, Zarakostas, if they even make 2 or even 3 substitutions all at once. They need something to bring this team to life.
Archer for Penn. Calmly nodded back to Marcucci.
It's a risky ball from Penn. It's got to be an absolutely incredible ball to get right across the pitch above all those defenders and reach a teammate. And instead, possession lost, and it's a lot of hard work to get that possession back now.
Claudio Repetto is being prepared to enter. Team leader with 6 goals on the season. For now, the word is it'll be for Bunting. We await that officially being announced. Bunting has the goal for the Battery. So he's already done his part. But they need more. Patterson knocked away. Down behind the plate. Appears to be Mike Knapp.
Bit of a break in play, good chance to get subs on and have a quick word. And there's only 1 sub, it's surprising. I think there's going to be 2 or 3 still to follow. They really need to shuffle the pack here, Charleston Battery.
So it's Repetto in and Bunting out, the first of the changes. Angelo Kelly in for Benderosa, and then Stavros Zarakostas in for Jabel Perez.
There we go. As we thought, 3 of them all at once. And I think that's the right sort of message it sends to the rest of the team. It says, right, okay, now we're just going to go for it. Get the ball into Repetto, bomb him. He's such a big guy up front. Let's bomb the ball in. We've got fresh legs in midfield with Kelly and Zarakostas. You run at the defense and cause as much trouble and problems as you can. New energy for Charleston Battery. And of course, conversely, for New York Red Bulls, time to really work hard and defend, because you know they're coming at you.
Knapp is being helped to the sideline.
These substitutions brought to you by Home Team Barbecue.
All substitutions brought to you by Home Team Barbecue.
With locations downtown, West Ashley, Sullivan's Island, and all season long right here at Patriots Point.
JC Cortez is getting prepped on the sideline for New York. And he will be entering now due to the injury for Michael Knapp. The sub also brought to you by Home Team Barbecue.
41 for 66, red. 41 for 66.
Cortez didn't get waved on yet as Knapp came off the field. Here's Penn. Sends a ball in. Penn, it's headed just wide. And here comes Cortez. Knapp already made his way off the field.
Cortez just 17 years of age, and he's coming right in at a time when you know the Battery are going to come flying at that New York Red Bulls defense. So he's going to have to focus and be strong and meet the challenge.
Zarakostas lays it off. Strike from distance is parried over the bar by Marcucci. Chance was there, Brooke failing.
Good strike, good save. Expect the goalkeeper to tip that over, but it's a sign of intention. As Battery power forward again, more set pieces. They're going to, especially with Repetto now as well. It's a dangerous time for the Red Bulls. Not just staying close for marking, but actually winning the headers as well. Here's the shot from Burke failing. Connects nicely, but it's at the goalkeeper, and it's a fairly straightforward touch over the bar.
And now failing. He'll take the corner as well. John Matto wants to have a chat first with the players in the area. Failing delivers. Still alive. Zarakostas. And they'll do it again.
It's a poor corner, that one there. Easy to get rid of it from a defensive point of view. He's got to beat that first man, get it over the first man, and then drop it down, or take it short, perhaps.
Crawford, good delivery. Good defense again from the Red Bulls for the moment. And another corner for the Battery, this time from the other side. And as you see, all of the flags of the home nations of the Battery players above the supporter section behind the goal, they're all whipping at the corner where Failing just took the corner from. So he was trying to cut it right through the wind. Maybe a wise decision to go short to Crawford. But now this corner, the wind at the back. Driven. It's the same result as it was from the other side. Can't get it past the first man.
That's frustrating. You've got all those big bodies in the box. You can't get a good delivery on goal. I'm sure Mike Anhauser's jumping up and down with annoyance there. Because if you get one again, use the set piece, get that goal. Suddenly 2-3, the crowd's going to go crazy. The energy's up. You can go on to win the match. But the next goal, it's got to come from Battery if they're going to fire this crowd up. And the longer Red Bulls can defend and hold them at bay, the more the crowd lose their energy and excitement levels.
And if they get another one, that might be a good night. Charleston. They're pressing for another one. Kuzminski clears it. And now something on maybe the other way for the Battery. Repetto gets it. Nowhere for him to go in the corner. But he loses possession entirely, and it's a throw for the Red Bulls. Team leader with 6 goals. They're going to need him to find a 7th and maybe an 8th and maybe a 9th in this one.
He can if he's in the center of the box. He's not going to do it from out on the wing. He's your main target man in the middle. He needs to get into the middle and allow the fullbacks and the midfield to whip the ball in for him.
And here's another change for the Battery. Zico Lewis on, Jared Van Schaik off. Brought to you by Home Team Barbecue. Bringing on one of your best attacking options, the orchestrator up top. Take it out of center back, so you could see where the mindset is right now for Anhauser. Everything forward.
Yeah, DeRosa came off on the previous substitution, so I don't know who's left at the back. Maybe it's just Kuzminski. But Leyland Archer, AJ Patterson, they're going to have to do a really clever defensive job there, because again, you don't want to get caught in the counter.
This is quickly turned from a 4-4-2 into a 2-4-4 for the Battery.
Like something like that, but hey, you got to take risks.
As long as it works. Here's DZ Harmon. And it's deflected out by Tomble, well defended. Another corner just past the hour mark with Gary Bailey. I'm Joe Malfa. Thanks for tuning in this evening here on ESPN Plus.
Down there, fans. It's a corner.
This is a good tackle by Tomble. DZ Harmon had just pulled the trigger there, and the center back, great tackle, perfect timing.
First time it'll be Zico Lewis taking the corner. Team leader with 8 assists on the season. Same result. It has been a tough go of it, whoever the corner taker has been tonight for the Battery.
And there's a few hands went up in exasperation in the box. Expected a lot better than that.
Harmon. Jorgensen. Well done to win it back by Kelly. Set piece coming for the Battery now. The brand new 2021 home and away kits are now available. Get the same look as the guys in the field. Pick out your new jersey today by visiting shop.charlestonbattery.com.
Zarakostas complaining. Trying to get the sympathy of the referee as he hobbles away there. Now another set piece, another opportunity, and the referee told them a few times in the first half, you've got to let Battery take the free kick, and chosen not to listen. That's a cheap yellow.
Goes against Jorgensen.
He wasn't even on the pitch in the first half, so unfortunate for him. His teammates were the culprits then, and here's the one who ends up with the yellow. Now, a decent ball in. Give your big guys a chance to get on the end of it.
Jorgensen trying to plead his case. I never got a warning. They got the warning.
It was a team warning, the referee's saying. You should have been watching from the subs bench.
And they do what they did to get the first goal, failing from the free kick. 4 red jerseys there, none in yellow and black. It's failing again. Driven ball in towards the penalty mark. And LaCava gets it away only as far as Crawford. Dipping, not easy to deal with for Marcucci, but secure enough in the end.
That's a good strike from Robbie Crawford. Difficult there. It sort of came out on the edge of the box. He had one chance to chest it and hit it on the volley. Very, very difficult technique there to get it on target with power. Have a look, comes up. He actually heads it and then hits it on the volley. It tests the keeper, but again, it's a reasonably straightforward save. That clock is running down. Really, it's getting very close to desperate times for Battery. If they want to score 3 goals and take away the 3 points they desperately need, they don't have much time left to do it.
Here's Kelly. Being harassed every step of the way by LaCava. Crawford. They're having trouble finding yellow jerseys in and around the box. Every time a ball is sent in, be it from open play, be it from a free kick, be it from a corner, the first player to meet it is wearing red.
Yep. And I think that's just poor quality into the box. That's not the Battery players not meeting the ball necessarily. It's the service in really hasn't been good. In fact, all in all, it's one of the worst games I've seen so far for Charleston Battery. Errors at the back, which is so unlike the Battery. They're normally quite tight in defense. Up front, the service into the box has been poor. But they've got just under 30 minutes to turn all that around.
Failing. Inside. Lewis. Pen was open.
That service we're talking about again, that's a straightforward ball into the box. If you're going to overhit it, maybe overhit it by a yard, but that's just way over the top of everyone.
You don't expect that from Zico Lewis. No. Second in the league with 8 assists. Can't watch the match, turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source of soccer radio, featuring Ray Hudson, Tony Miola, Rodney Marsh, and USL All Access with Mike Watts and Devin Kerr every Tuesday night at 7 Eastern. You can also hear live action from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app. Later tonight, you can get Oakland Roots and San Diego Loyal on Sirius XM. Showed you the score. It's 1-0 at the half. Charlotte up on Miami. As it stands in the live table, that would keep the Independents 10 points clear of the Battery. Charleston would have a game in hand, but that's a lot of ground to make up.
Well, I think the honest truth is if you can't beat New York Red Bulls 2 at home, and again, with all due respect to Red Bulls, they have lost 10 of the last 11. If you can't beat them at home, what chance have you got against Pittsburgh away, Tampa home and away, Hartford, and then Charlotte away? Logically speaking, you cannot see it happening if this gap does remain 10 points at the end of today. So again, for Battery, first job, they've got to turn this around very quickly. And second job, they've got to hope that Miami can come back against Charlotte.
This was your measuring stick for the Battery.
Yes.
As long as they can get by this, maybe they've got a shot. But if you can't measure up to this challenge, how can you measure up to those challenges?
Yeah. I mean, again, New York Red Bulls have done really well today, but they got beat 6-0 by Tampa Bay. So, you know, I'm not saying that New York Red Bulls is easy, but if you're going to be a top side, you have to do better than Charleston Battery's done today. But there's still time. It depends on the attitude. I think the 3 subs are going to make a difference.
Taking the space here is Zarakostas. Lewis is there for aid. Lewis trying to work his way through 3 would-be defenders, but he commits the foul. And you can hear the frustration building in the crowd as well.
Zico Lewis saying there was a dive in there, but every time you make contact with a defender and defender goes down, the ref's going to give it. There wasn't much contact, and frustrated the crowd, as you could hear. But this is the problem when, you know, you're asking these subs to come on and turn it around and score 3 goals in 30-odd minutes. It's a lot to ask, and again, with hindsight, and it's very easy with hindsight, maybe if Charlotte had played their strongest 11 and then gone to Pittsburgh and said, hey, we're putting the fringe players in and maybe we'll burgle a point, who knows, it might have turned out to be the better option, especially as Mike Anheuser said, we want 3 points at home. We have to win our home games. But it's, you know, it's easy in hindsight. It's very, very tough being a manager and having to make these decisions. But you have to live by them, I guess.
Quick issue of the card there to Mandela Egbo.
Well, that's now two players on yellows for New York Red Bulls. They're going to have to manage that very carefully. Let's have a look at what Egbo did wrong. Well, there's a bit of a tackle from behind. Referees don't like that. It's going to get you in trouble every time. But when it comes to discipline, New York Red Bulls have the worst discipline in the USL. And the man with the most yellows actually is their centre-back, Emir Tombol, with 10 yellows. Daniel Edelman, who's suspended at the moment, has 9. So a track record of getting themselves into trouble. And there's that stat, 69 yellow cards in total, most in the USL. Now they're going to have to manage it extremely carefully from here, New York Red Bulls, given their potential for getting themselves booked.
It was a red card that helped undo them over the weekend against Memphis. Great ball in over the top. Here's Lewis waiting for it to come down. He's taken down as he shoots, and it'll be a goal kick.
Wow, what a chance for the Battery and for Zico Lewis. As it comes over his shoulder, I'm thinking hit it, and he seemed to wait and wait and wait. Let's have a look and see why it took so long. As it comes over, now there, hit it. He doesn't, he waits, and he waits. Don't know what happened, why he didn't pull the trigger there. Maybe this angle will tell us. He sort of comes off his leg, almost like he took too long to set it all up. Players around him can't believe he didn't finish that off.
Austin Brummett enters for Jake LaCava. As of now, LaCava has the game-winning goal. He made it 2-0 Red Bulls back in the 20th minute. Substitution brought to you by Home Team Barbecue.
Wow. Zico Lewis's chance there. If they go on to lose this match, Battery, they'll look back at that, because you slot that one in the back of the net. 3-2.
Here's another chance. Telegraphed on the ball from Harmon, looking for Lewis at the penalty mark, and just a downtrodden Claudio Repetto at the back post. Just kind of planted his feet to the ground, looked, shot a dagger at DZ Harmon, and then came over to have a chat with him. He was there at the back post for the tap-in.
Frustration's building for the Battery, but that chance for Zico Lewis, if he puts that in the back of the net, the whole vibe changes. Well, let's see what they can do from this set piece.
Better delivery this time than the last couple. Same result. It's a red jersey getting to it first. And Penn loses it. Late foul call on that, so this will essentially turn out to be a corner kick here for the Battery.
Austin Brummett pleading his innocence, saying didn't mean to make any contact. But if you're the Battery now, you play for anything. You're going to take every chance you can, get every set piece. You've got a couple of players in the opposition on yellows. You'll target them for a second yellow. If you have to play dirty to get through, you have to do it, because if they don't win this one, as we said, it could be the end of their playoff hopes.
Lewis, the delivery. Punched away by Marcucci.
Good punch, the goalkeeper. That's when you need your keeper, when you're under that sort of pressure.
Corner taken quickly by Zarakostas. Failing, looking for an alleyway to get a ball in. Delivery. Comes out for Penn. Didn't quite catch it right. The USL's elite pre-professional platform, USL Academy, allows clubs to build a pathway to pro soccer by bringing together top local youth talent and helping players transition to their USL senior teams. For more information, visit usl-academy.com.
Be certain with Singo handling your home.
Crowd are very quiet, aren't they now? They know that this is a must-win game. And they're trying to get their team, trying to help them go forward, but just not getting that crucial next goal yet.
Clock must feel like it is moving at 1.5 times speed right now for Charleston, slipping away quicker and quicker.
Again, if you're New York Red Bulls and you've struggled to get a win under your belt in recent months, then this is a desperate game for you to hold on to. You don't want to go from 3-1 down and lose yet again. That would be soul destroying. So the team in red, look at them working their socks off. They want to hold on to these 3 points. They want to have a nice journey back to New York and feel proud of having won on a very, very difficult ground in which to win.
Penn is taken down. Here's Kelly. Overlap coming from Failing. Just out of sync in the final third as they try and desperately push for these couple of goals.
Something happened off the ball there. There's a red shirt down in the box, and holding his face is Mandela Egbo. And the referee, I don't think, saw it, so he's probably having a word with the assistant refs as to did they see anything.
Crowd growing restless as well, getting upset at the injured player or potentially time wasting, but again, nothing we could see, something behind the ball.
Well, the coach, Wolinek's not upset, so it doesn't seem like it was. Let's look at the very top of the screen and see if there was anything.
Coffee Cafe is the official.
There didn't seem to be much contact there, and if the coach isn't upset, then
their location in Mount Pleasant today for your next caffeine fix.
He's done well, Mandela Egbo. 2 balls into the box that ended up with goals for his team. He's been bombing down that right-hand side time and time again. Very impressed.
2 assists on the night officially.
Crucial 17 minutes for John Molinek and his players. If they can hold on to this lead, even at 3-2, and take the 3 points with them, this will be a real statement of a game for the young players. It's something that I'm sure that the coach has been looking forward to for a long time now, as they've suffered some big defeats. But as mentioned, if they throw away the lead, that'll be devastating for these young players.
And again, Red Bull's not mathematically eliminated. They are 21 points back of Charlotte as it stands. They're not going to make a run here to the postseason. But as John Wolynek noted in our chat this week, every single game is valuable for this young team because you just cannot duplicate or replicate game minutes in crunch time against a desperate professional team like this in the Charleston Battery. There's no way for the likes of some of the teenagers, the Ngomas of the world, the Sam Williams of the world, to get these kind of reps in a simulated practice or something. This is the only chance, the only crucible with which they can have these challenges thrown their way. So it's really big down the stretch here for the development of this club.
100% correct. You know, they're going to find out in the next 15 minutes what it's like to be smashed by much older, bigger players, because as this goes on, Battery get more desperate. You assume they'll go route one and knock high balls into Repetto and DC Harmon. And they're going to get battered, New York Red Bulls, and they're going to have to stand up to it. And that you can't do in training.
Fans, it is time to vote for the Heineken Man of the Match. Download the Charleston Battery app or go to Twitter to cast your vote for the Heineken Man of the Match. I think fans are hoping right now that their decision could be made for them by someone who comes up with a couple of goals late on here.
Yeah, absolutely. There just hasn't been anyone who's done anything really special, has there? I mean, Bunting got the goal, but that was a header in from 4 or 5 yards out. Other than that, nobody's done anything amazing yet. But I think you're right. We're still 15 minutes to go, and the skill they have on the pitch, Zara Costas and Zico Lewis, Repetto, Harmon, you still fancy they could come up with something.
And all you can ask for is getting the second goal. Put the pressure on a young Red Bull squad to now see that it's only a 1-goal deficit instead of a 2-goal lead.
Exactly. You have to do that. You have to give the crowd something to fight for. If you go down 3-2, at least you put up a fight. But if you leave it at 3-1, it's once it's comfortable for the Red Bulls, but it's not most difficult in the world when you've got that cushion. Take away the cushion and make it 3-2, then you will really test this team in red.
And at this stage, there's no difference between 3-1 and 4-1, so it doesn't matter if you leave yourself vulnerable at the back.
Yep, correct.
Right there, we're good.
Opportunities have been there. Think back a few minutes to Zico Lewis in the area. Easy Harmon has gone forward.
I still don't know what Zico Lewis was doing there. That ball was there for him to shoot once, and then he waited, and he brought it down with his knee, and then maybe just miscontrolled it. But what a chance that was. And a player as good as him normally buries that.
Mike Anheuser said at this stage of the season, you need your big players to make big plays in big times. Who will step up for the Battery? Crawford, Harmon, slipped back through to Crawford and cleared away by Egbo. Chance to counter here for the Red Bulls. 2v1 if Jorgensen times his run correctly. Unable to get it by Archer.
That's the danger. 2v1 for a moment there. Little half chance for Red Bulls to have snatched a fourth. Those are the risks you have to take at the back, and Leland Archer just did well to sweep it all up. But there is that risk that a fourth goal would kill this game off, you would think. So worrying times for the Charleston Battery fans. I'm sure there's plenty of fingernail being chewed at this moment in time, probably by Mike Anheuser more than anybody else.
No need for the nail clippers this week. This game will do it for you.
All the latest league scores, news, and highlights from around the USL.
Yellow card was issued
the USL app now
to the Red Bulls. I believe it was for Brummett. A new era of Division II professional women's soccer begins in 2023 with the introduction of the USL Super League. Head over to uslsoccer.com/USL Super League to learn more. That was Kyle Zayats with the yellow card. And now another set piece opportunity for the Battery.
Another yellow card.
That one to Raffanello, who supplied the goal just a couple minutes into this second half. Minute 47 to be exact, to give them the 3-1 lead.
That's 4 yellow cards for the Red Bulls. And I think in that situation, you've got to make sure that those who go in for the crunching tackles are not any on the yellow card. So you have to sort of constantly communicate to players. Players who are not on a yellow, there's the ones who can get stuck in the middle of the pitch.
Eric McHugh will enter the match. Final substitution.
Substitution in the 80th minute for the Charleston Battery. Coming out, number 24, Josh Penn.
Josh Penn exits the match. Brought to you by Home Team Barbecue.
A substitution brought to you by Home Team Barbecue.
Driven by Lewis. Diving header! Was it in? It was! 3-2. DZ Harmon dives like Superman and gets one back.
Fantastic header by DZ Harmon. Ball into the box. That's the danger area. You've got the big boys. You've got the height advantage. Absolutely fantastic ball whipped in. And DZ Harmon, brave as a lion, gets on the end of it. Leland Archer with the... Oh, it's actually Leland Archer gets the header. Apologies there. Oh, big man from the back does the business that was required of him. And it goes over the line according to the assistant ref. The players are all appealing for it. And they're back in this game, Charleston Battery.
Archer gets the goal. Our apologies on that. Harmon, Archer both up there, and they crossed each other, and it was Archer who dives in for the header.
Oh, now it is game on, isn't it? 3-2, that's what we called for. And that's the thing about when you have big players like Leland Archer you can throw up there, and you've got DZ Harmon as well, and you've got Repetto. You've got to be putting good ball into the box, and so often the ball in has been poor in this match. At last, they get good quality service, and guess what? They get the goal they need.
Curtis Afori enters for Jeremy Raffanello, brought to you by Home Team Barbecue. And Omar Sow exits for Luther Archimid. A lifeline for the Battery. And a foul by McHugh.
Fans at Charleston Battery, goal was scored by number 5, Leland Archer.
Another look here as McHugh supplies the contact.
Visit their showroom located in Mount Pleasant.
I don't know what McHugh was doing there, because once he gets hit in the face, which is a yellow card, if not worse. But his tackle in the first place, we just ran into the player.
That goal by Leland Archer was brought to you by Diamonds Direct. It was his first of the season. Comes at a big time. Deflected, dropped by Kuzminski.
Oh. Oh, the hearts in the mouth for the Battery fans there. Just got themselves back in the match, nearly gave it away. Lots of arguments from the bench and the crowd, as well as the tension ramps up here for the final 7 minutes or so. Battery need more than one goal. I guess they'd take a draw, but they so desperately need the 3 points, though, if they're to stay close to Charlotte.
Charlotte has begun the second half. They're up 1-0 on Miami. So it still remains a 10-point lead for the Independents in the live standings. Contact on the sideline. Foul goes against Kelly. And the Red Bulls bench pleading for a card.
Zajic on a yellow card himself, trying to look for somebody else to join him. But this is what Red Bulls need to do now with just over 6 minutes left. Get the ball up the opposition half, set pieces, slow things down, take your time. This is a professional way to close out the game, whether you win 3-1 or 3-2. Let's have a look at this moment here. Well, Zajic steps across the ball as well, so there's a complaint from both sides, to be fair. The referee sides with Red Bulls.
Kelly does pick up a yellow. Zajic serves it up. One helps for the Battery, but they need two here. And the flag goes up on Jorgensen.
Important now, the Battery. Every ball forward has to be a good one.
Here's Zico Lewis on his favorite left foot. Has it taken away. Does well to win it back, though. Failing. Serves the ball up. And Marcucci is there.
That's not a good ball in from Failing. You've got the big boys in the box. They want it a little bit lower than that. That's far too easy for the keeper. You've got to whip it in with pace at head height to give your strikers a chance. That's the one thing you can pick out from this Battery performance. Their service into the box has been extremely poor. And the one time they get it on target, Leland Archer pops up with a fantastic finish.
Here is Archer. Patterson. Crawford. Gets it out to Zarakostas. Repetto takes it down. Now Kelly. Good ball through for Failing. Cuts it in front. Back for Kelly. Out for Zarakostas. Clips one in. Archimed's clearance is poor. Now it's McHugh. Well defended on the left side by Juan Castillo.
A great effort by New York Red Bulls too, defending under massive pressure, and so far with only minutes left, they've come up good. This would be a fantastic win for them. 3-2 at Patriots Point. Not an easy place to come to and get a win. And it's not like they've been lucky either, Red Bulls. They've taken their chances when they've come. They've had a few others they could have scored more. They've defended well.
4 meetings this season, almost done with those. Just a few minutes remaining. 16 goals in those games combined. Wow.
And if this result stays, it'll be on as even rather. 1 win each and 2 draws.
There you go. And all time, Charleston has struggled with the Red Bulls. Mind you, this is not your grandfather's New York Red Bulls 2 team, as they say. It's a team that has won a trophy here in USL Championship. It's a down year for them. So don't take that as a surprise, seeing where New York is in the table and seeing how much they've dominated the all-time series. I wanted a foul call that never came as Eric Hostis was fed to the ground. Archimed saw the flag was going to pop up. It does.
Well, I'm afraid we're witnessing the end, or very close to the end of Charleston Battery's playoff hopes, because if this result stands, as does the one in Charlotte, that 10 points difference, given the games left, it's going to be a massive mountain to climb for the Battery, and one in which it might be a step too far. And this will be the game they look back at and say, this is the one they had to win. You did ask Mark Anhauser that question when we spoke to him, is this a must-win? And he said, to be fair, it actually is. And I think that basically sums up this match. If they lose it, they are very close to not making the playoffs. You can never say they won't, but given Pittsburgh away, Tampa home and away, Charlotte away, wow, they're going to have to go on the most unbelievable run if they're going to make it.
To be fair, it's not even necessarily all on Charleston's shoulders. They would also just have to hope that Charlotte slows down, and right now it doesn't seem like there's anything slowing that team down.
Yep, 100%, and that's the problem.
Charleston could go undefeated the rest of the season and still not make it. It depends on those other teams in front of them also faltering.
Agreed, 100%. It's not in their hands, but what they have to do is keep winning, and with this result, that is not the case as the clock ticks out, and it's looking like desperate times for Charleston Battery and great times for this young New York Red Bulls 2 side.
We're told it'll be 6 minutes of added time here at the end of the second half. Just waiting for the 4th official to show it officially. Patterson. Derek Costas. It's by his first man. Still with it. Couldn't do anything with it in the end. It is 6 minutes of added time, brought to you by MUSC Health Sports Medicine.
The 4th official has indicated there will be a minimum of 6 minutes of added time.
It's a lifeline of 6 minutes for the Battery. Can they take advantage of it?
MUSC Health Sports Medicine. You can follow them on Twitter at MUSC Sports Med.
Played through. Jorgensen cuts it across. Chance for the exclamation point. Saved by Kuzminski. Keeps them alive for now.
What a save from Kuzminski there. Archimed can't believe it. He's thinking that's an absolute definite goal. And once again, New York Red Bulls on the counter-attack with pace. Absolutely brilliant. Just cut right through here. And Jorgensen with a perfect head up, perfect pass. It's in the back of the net. No, it's not. Keeper saves the day for the moment. But again, the efficiency of the Red Bulls passing and efforts near goals has been top class today.
It's come up big time and again, Kuzminski. Question is, can that spur something at the other end now for the Battery?
Getting very chippy in the last few minutes here. Tempers are fraying on both sides.
Chested by Repetto into the path of Harmon. Harmon looking to regather, and he'll commit the foul.
Good defending. Absolutely brilliant there, just to make sure that DZ Harmon can't get through. That's Curtis Ofori. That's a 15-year-old up against DZ Harmon. Very impressive defending.
No rush here from AJ Marcucci.
It's amazing how errors can hurt you early on. Errors. Jared Van Schaik's mistake on his return to the team, very costly. And the free kick going to New York Red Bulls. Van Schaik had his pocket picked by Sergeant Goma and was 1-0 down. And from that moment onwards, it all seemed to be going wrong for the Battery. They just haven't been able to get themselves into this game. Credit New York Red Bulls too, of course, but it's amazing how when you look back at this game, that mistake put the Battery on the back foot, gave Red Bulls all sorts of confidence to keep scoring goals. Jake LaCava with the second. And then after half-time, you're 2-1, Charleston Battery. You've got to get back level. You mustn't concede. Within a couple of minutes, they're 3-1 down from a cross and a near post header. So they've only got themselves to blame, I would think, the Battery.
Marcucci picked up a yellow card in that process there. Archimed wisely takes it to the corner with Jorgensen. Failing, wins it back for the Battery. Have to commit everything forward now. They needed 3 tonight. They'll take at least 1. It doesn't do them really all that good right now, but still better 1 than 0 if they can find a third here. That's a fortuitous bounce for the Battery into the path of Crawford. He's waiting for help. Harmon. Good defending again on that left side.
Brilliant.
From Juan Castillo.
Yeah, brilliant by the team in red. The effort, the hard work, the covering, the pace in which they close everyone down. Look at this now, Archimed running across to try and close down as well. It really, oh, and he's going to pick up a yellow for that. It's the wrong way to defend, but at least he slowed things down. It has been a fantastic effort by the Red Bulls too.
It's going to be easier to say which players don't have yellow cards by the end of this one.
But they've been clever in that they haven't got the same player getting yellow like in the previous match with Edelman. They've been getting the players who have a clean slate to get stuck in.
It's that time now for the Battery. Kuzminski joins the attack. They need everybody up top now. Lewis drives it in. Corner coming. Kuzminski will stay forward.
It's a better ball in. Again, decent service, and you know what? You get a half chance at goals. You get yourself a corner. If the service was better throughout this match, I'm pretty sure the Battery would have had more goals than just the 2 they've got.
Swung in by Lewis. Kuzminski was there, flashing at the near post. That would have been something. Another corner.
Keep it going, Battery fans. Corner kick coming up. Make some noise.
Might be the last chance now for the Battery. Lewis. Cleared away.
That's another bad corner, isn't it, from Zico Lewis, not beating the first man. But look at the red shirts, closing down, tackling, winning the ball. Great effort.
Long throw coming from DZ Harmon towards the penalty mark. Zico Lewis mishits it. Crawford takes it down. Patterson strikes it. It took a deflection on the way in, but it might have deflected off of a Battery teammate. Goal kick coming for the Red Bulls, and that might do it.
Yep. Fantastic effort by the Red Bulls as this match wraps up. Took their chances so well, and they could have had more, to be fair, on the counter-attack. The pace up front, brilliant. Charleston Battery just not good enough on the day.
Final whistle. That does it here at Patriots Point. A hard-earned win for the New York Red Bulls and John Wolyniek's side on the road against Mike Anhauser's Charleston Battery. And that right now leaves Charleston 10 points back in the live standings. They have a game in hand, but you wonder if that mountain might now be too much to climb for the Battery.
Well, all they can do is hope that Miami do go on to beat Charlotte and reduce that gap to 7 points, but it's out of Battery's hands right now, and credit those lads in red. Brilliant performance, fantastic on the counter-attack. The pace at which they counter-attacked was superb. And Mike Anhauser and company knew it was coming. They just weren't able to deal with it on the night.
Tonight's Heineken man of the match is Joel Bunting. He did get the opening goal for Charleston. At the time, made it 2-1. But the Red Bulls would go on from there to make it 3-1 before Leland Archer in the 80th minute got it to a 1-goal deficit again. And that's how it finished, 3-2 in favor of the Red Bulls. Marcucci didn't have a lot to deal with on the backside. They defended really well as a team, and the Red Bulls pick up 3 big points on the road as they are growing and developing as a young team here in USL. Back in a moment.
Takes the championship 34 years after his father.
Child arrived just the other day, came to the world in the usual way, and he was talking for I knew it, and as he grew, he'd say, I'm gonna be like you, Dad, you know I'm gonna be like you.
I'm driving.
Zero alcohol.
And the cats in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man on the moon.
This is your vacation, your beach, your fields of green, skies of blue, mountains of majesty. You're an athlete, you're obsessed, you're in love, you're in pain, spirit drained, in agony, fighting gravity, because you made a commitment to yourself and others to work on your game, build your frame in blazing heat, exhausted and beat. You're not alone. You're supported, pushed, tested, tried, true, broken, fixed, and put back on track to do it all again. Your road is long, an open highway completely secluded, jammed with traffic, horns blaring, sirens screaming, speed limit, near misses, head-on collisions, body shops, rest stops, so many tolls to pay. Your destination isn't a place, it's a record, a dance, a feeling. Hands in the air, stands on their feet, joy all around. Because when you refuse to yield, your spirit is revealed. You are an athlete. MUSC Health, Sports Medicine.
Tough night at the office for the Battery here in Mount Pleasant this evening. They fall 3-2 to the Red Bulls in what was a must-win game dubbed by head coach Mike Anhauser. They falter here, and their playoff hopes might be dwindling as well. We take a look at the full-time highlights in this one. Goals galore, as it has been the entire season in this series.
Yeah, and it was an error early on by the man who's back in the team, Jared Van Schaik. Just there has the ball nicked off him by the 16-year-old Sergeant Goma, who then has still to beat one defender and the goalkeeper, which he does, and slots it into the back of the net. It's more or less crossing the line as the defender gets there. So great credit to the 16-year-old. And from then onwards for the Battery, they were on the back foot and in trouble.
LaCava would have this one fall right to his feet as Ben DeRosa mistimed the header, and it'd be the second assist of the night for Egbo.
Yeah, ball into the box, and it's an unlucky one when it deflects like that, but again, the ball wasn't dealt with by DeRosa coming in, and then it's bouncing around the box. You get an unlucky deflection. Jake LaCava will take the credit for it. Then you got to find your way back into the match.
And that they did. Bunting, this one fell for him right there at the doorstep. So after a poor bounce on the other end, they get a favorable bounce here, and it made it 2-1 for the moment.
Yeah, well taken by Bunting, and it lost a decent service from out wide. They've been very poor service from set pieces. One decent service, and they get a goal. And yet after halftime, just when Battery needs to not concede, what happens? Near post, Raffanello, unmarked, 3-1, and now you have an absolute mountain to climb.
It's been a remarkably even season series between these two teams. A pair of draws, each team won a game, and the game that each team won, a 3-2 final scoreline. This one was pushed to 3-2 on this terrific header by Leland Archer.
Leland Archer there just throws his body and hits the crossbar. Can't see if it crosses the line or not, but referee says yes, assistant ref said yes. Again, decent ball in the box. Give your big men a chance, but from then onwards, New York Red Bulls defended absolutely brilliantly. They ran themselves into the ground. They closed down with pace. And on the night, they were just too good for Charleston Battery.
And we take a look at the live standings. There is Charleston below the playoff line. Bad news, though, for the Battery fans. While we took that commercial break before coming out to wrap this one up, Charlotte went up 2-0 on Miami. So they certainly seem to have that game in hand now at home. So they will remain there on 40 points, and the Battery finished tonight on 30. It was a must-win game for the Battery tonight on Hometown Heroes Night in Charleston, but it's a night that they would like to have back. They fall 3-2 to the New York Red Bulls in a very tight one. Not the result they needed at the night's end. For my broadcast partner, Gary Bailey, and the men and women who make this broadcast possible, I'm Joe Malfa saying good night from Patriots Point. Red Bulls 3, Battery 2.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.